Alright, today we are reviewing for our test on solving equations. First thing we learned about was solving one-step equations. Remember, we draw our line down and we want to get the letter all by itself. You're always going to do the opposite of what you see. Remember, the opposite of adding is subtracting, and the opposite of multiplying is dividing. The last one, if you have a fraction, to undo a fraction, you have to multiply by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal is just flipping the fraction. So we'll get there when we get there. So first, I see m minus 5 equals negative 17. The opposite of subtracting 5 would be adding 5. Make sure you're showing your work. So we have m. And then negative 17 plus 5. There's more negatives. 17 minus 5 is 12. Or just plug it in your calculator. So our answer is negative 12. Alright, let's try this next one. We want to get x all by itself. The opposite of a positive 15 would be a negative, or subtract 15. So those eliminate. We have x. And then negative 21 minus 15, they're all negative, same sign, add them up. 5 plus 1 is 6, and 2 plus 1 is 3. Keep the negative sign, so it's a negative 36. Down below, we said when we have a fraction, in order to get rid of this fraction, we need to multiply by the reciprocal. So this is 3 over 4, so the reciprocal would be 4 over 3 times 4 over 3. 4 over 4 is just 1. 3 over 3 is just 1, so we have 1y, or just y. And this is really 9 over 1. 9 times 4 is 36. 1 times 3 is 3. So 36 divided by 3 will give us 12. One thing that's not on here, I don't think, nope. If it was just like x over 2 equals 5, that's not a fraction, that's really just division. So the opposite of division would be multiply. We would have to multiply by 2 on both sides. 2 over 2 would cancel out and give us 5 times 2, which is 10. So notice, this is division. This has a number on both sides. That's a fraction. So let's move along. This is just multiply. The opposite of multiply is divide. 3 over 3 is just 1. So 27 divided by 3 is 9. Slide 2, we're solving two-step equations. This is when we looked at getting the letter all by itself and undoing first addition and subtraction, and then multiplication and division. So first, second. This first one, though, we have two sets of g's here. We have 8g and a negative 6g. We can just subtract 8g minus 6g is 2g, all equal to 14. And this is just multiplied, so the opposite of multiply is divide. 2 over 2 is just 1. And 14 divided by 2 is 7. Now let's again draw our line down. Like we said here, first getting rid of addition or subtraction. This is really multiplied here, so we can't get rid of that 1/6. We need to get rid of this 20. It's a positive 20, so I'm going to subtract 20 on both sides. Those are gone. 30 minus 20 is 10, and we have 1/6 m. To undo this fraction, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, just like we did with the fraction before. So multiply by, instead of 1 over 6, the reciprocal would be 6 over 1 times 6 over 1. 6 over 6 is just 1. 1 over 1 is just 1, so we have m. And over here, this is over 1. 6 times 10 is 60. 1 times 1 is still 1. Well, 60 divided by 1 is still 60. Doesn't change it. Alright, let's draw our line down. We want to get x all by itself. Get rid of just your addition or subtraction first. So this is really a positive 4. This is multiplied, so we can't get rid of that 9 yet. So we're going to subtract 4. Same sign, add them up. That's negative 18. And then last, the opposite of multiply is divide. So we're going to divide by that number to get the x all by itself. I know it's going to be negative. 9 times 2 will give us 18. Last one like this. Ooh, that was not straight. Let's try that again. That's a little better. We want k all by itself. Get rid of just the addition or subtraction first, the number that's all by itself. This is all by itself. This is multiplied. Can't do that yet. So the opposite of adding 11 is subtracting 11. So we have negative 8k. And 3 minus 1 is 2. 8 minus 1 is 7. So 72. And we can't add 8. This is really multiplied. The opposite of multiply is divide. So we're going to divide by negative 8 on both sides. 72 divided by negative 8 is negative 9. Flip over to the back side. We have a couple multi-step equations. First, we see parentheses here. That means we need to distribute. Again, going back to our, it's not on here. Let's look at our little sheet that I handed you. It tells you the order of things to do. First was distribute. If you're going down with the arrow, that sheet. Then combine like terms. Then get the variable on one side. Then get rid of addition and subtraction. Then multiplication and division. So first, distributing, I'm going to draw my box. We have h minus 6, and then my teacher touching is 4. So we have 4 times h is 4h. 6 times 4 is 24, and it's negative. But I didn't do anything with this h. That h is our hall monitor out in the hall. And it's all equal to 6. So we have 4h minus 24 plus h equals 6. We distributed. Combining our like terms now, we have 1h plus 4h would give us 5h minus 24 equals 6. Our variable is already on one side, it's here. Then we're going to get rid of our addition or subtraction, so we're going to add 24. So we have 5h, and 24 plus 6 is 30. And then we're going to get rid of multiplication or division. We have multiplication, so the opposite is divide by 5. 30 divided by 5 is, well, 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Alright, one more like this. Draw my line down. I see parentheses on both sides, so I'm going to draw a box on both sides. My teacher over here, not my teacher, in my classroom I have x plus 14. My teacher is the 4. Over here my teacher is the 2, and my classroom is x plus 8. So 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 14, plug it in your calculator if you're not sure, will give us 56. The positive, so I'm going to put a plus there. We have 4x plus 56. Over here, 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 8 is 16. Oops. And then, continuing to follow our pattern, what do we do next? We distributed. We can't combine like terms on the same side, but we can get the variable on one side. I'm going to put my variables on the left because there's more here, and my constants, or just my numbers, on the right. So how do I move this 2x to the other side over to with the other 4x? It's a positive, so the opposite would be subtracting 2x. 4 minus 2 is 2, plus 56 equals 16. And then we're on to addition and subtraction. This is a plus 56, so the opposite would be subtract 56. We have 2a. And here, different sign subtract, 6 minus 6 is 0. We're really doing this backwards. 5 minus 1 is 4, and there's more negatives. If you would like to just plug that in your calculator instead, that's fine. We just different sign subtract. We did 56 minus 16. More negatives. And then last, the opposite of multiply is divide. We know it's a negative, and 40 divided by 2 is 20. Last two problems. This one's going back to what we've done already. No distributing. We need to get all of our letters on the same side, but this is no number here. This is really a negative 1. So we have a negative 1 here and a 14 here. We need to move them to the same side. I'm going to keep my variables on the left and my constants on the right. So I need this variable to go over with the other, so I'm going to add 1a. 14a plus 1a is 15a. So we have negative 8 plus 15a equals 7. Then get rid of our addition or subtraction. That's just this 8 over here. This one's multiplied, so we can't do that yet. Add 8. Cancels out. 15a equals, well, 7 plus 8 is also 15. So then the opposite of multiplying by 15 is divide by 15. So those make 1. We have a equals 15 over 15 again, which is just 1. Now we did a couple like this the other day, maybe a week ago now. It says find the value of x. The perimeter is 42. It's not m, this is really meters. And we're not going to include that when we solve our problem. We'll just attach that to our answer at the end. So perimeter means we're going to add all the sides up. We know this is a rectangle, so if the bottom is 1x here, the top is also 1x. If the right side's 9, the left side is also 9. So we know that all four sides have to add up to 42. Well, let's add them up. We have 1x plus 9 plus 1x plus 9. So if we combine our like terms, 1x plus 1x would give us 2x. And then 9 plus 9, we're adding, is 18. And it's all equal to 42. So solve just like we've been doing, get rid of your addition and subtraction. Subtract 18. We have 2x. And 42 minus 18, well, I can't do 2 minus 8, so I'm going to borrow here. 12 minus 8 is 4, and 3 minus 1 is 2. And then last, the opposite of multiply is divide. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Alright, if you have questions, please make sure you ask. Otherwise, good luck on your test.